grab the northern lights. Baby, you just kick your feet up while I kick back.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo. But this isn't just a regular episode. This is a Cookout Special, because at the end of each season for shows that we watch, we're going to get together and just talk about just that season and our thoughts and how we felt about everything. And as you may know, the Real Housewives of New York recently ended. They're not doing a reunion, which, trust me, we're going to talk about that. But so tonight we are having a Real Housewives of New York cookout, and I'm going to let all of my guests introduce themselves. I'll start with Kendrick, I'll go clockwise and start with Lakia.
Hi guys, my name's Lakia. You can find me at miss.lakiki to you. I'm so happy to be here. I really enjoyed doing the episode. I believe it was the first episode. So happy to be here for the cookout.
Thank you. Jasper?
Hello, I'm Jasper, aka the King of Shade. I'm here with you guys. I'm excited to be here to chat it up with you guys.
Awesome.
Follow me on Instagram at the King of Shade _1.
Yes. Dalika?
Okay, sorry, I'm not Zoom. My name's Dalika. I'm just Nyemade's friend. I'm not like an influencer or anything. So
she's highly influential to me. So, and she's a traveler, which I love.
Yes.
Aaron?
Hello, I am one half of Bravo Wild Black. You can find me on Instagram at Bravo Wild Black or Aaron Marcellus _.
Yes. And Kendrick.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kendrick. I'm the host of Reality and Comics 2. Follow me on Instagram at Reality Comics 2. That's TOO. And just come get your life with me. I look forward to talking to y'all and throwing shade in the DMs.
Always throwing shade, and I call him the Lord of Memes. He always has the best memes after each episode.
Thank you.
All right, and did I even introduce myself? I'm Nyemade, or that African butterfly on everywhere on social media, and I'll include everyone's links and everything below in the descriptions. So before we start, if you've watched any of the previous episodes, you know that before we can start with being bold, black, and addicted to Bravo, we need to make sure we all have our cards. So we are going to play a few rounds of bold, black, or black card revoked. Oh Lord, everything's moving all over on my screen right now. Oh, this works. Okay. So we're gonna play a few rounds of black card revoked.
You know I'm competitive.
Let's see here. All right. These are all, it's a mix of group questions and like individual ones. So this one is a majority rules one. So if you haven't watched this movie, you need to get your black card revoked. Boys in the Hood, The Wiz, The Color Purple, or Roots. I vote The Color Purple.
I was about to say The Color Purple too.
The Color Purple.
I want to say The Color Purple, but I'm going to go with Roots. Like, I don't know.
All of it?
Right.
Well, maybe not all of it, but
like, can we chop it up into days or something? Like,
right. All right.
I'm gonna go with Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, okay.
Yeah.
I said The Color Purple.
I think The Color Purple wins that one. Perfect. All right. Who was the best duo on television? Keenan and Keel, Tia and Tamara, Malcolm and Eddie, George and Weezy.
Tia and Tamara.
Is what?
Keenan and Kel?
Yeah? Is that not what I said?
I thought you said Q.
I probably did. Keenan and Kel is what I meant.
George and Weezy for me.
For some odd reason, I was expecting you to say AJ and Free. I don't know why, but I was expecting it to come up.
What?
You know what? I know how Aaron feels about Tia and Tamara. I'm gonna go with Tia and Tamara too.
Okay. I
George
will
and
go.
Weezy.
You're with George and Wheezy. I'll go with Tia and Tamara. They're a good duo.
The best choice.
Go.
They're sisters, so they kind of have a natural, so it's unfair.
So is that majority?
That's
Wait,
true.
so are we at a tie for that one?
What did
You want to be
they
a
got
tie?
3? Did George and Weezy get 3 too?
I think. Wait, Delico, who did you say?
Tia and Samira.
Oh,
Yeah, never mind. Tia and Tamara.
Yeah.
Who was Bruce? Oh, this one is, there is a right answer to this one. Who was Bruce Leroy's enemy in The Last Dragon? Eddie V, Cyrus, Show Enough, or the Gramercy Riffs?
That was showing up.
Ding ding.
What's
Yes.
that?
Showing up. What's my name? Showing up. Right?
All right. He's the head of Cash Money Brothers. G Money, Nino Brown, Kareem Kabar, Big Chris.
Damn, I'm gonna go with the first one. Whatever you said for the first one.
G Money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going Nino Bryan.
What's that?
Nino Bryan. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the correct answer.
Oh,
Isn't
Which
Cash
one?
Money a record label? Well, I guess Cash Money Brothers, the category says gangsters, so. But aren't they like 2000s and the 9? Isn't that
Right.
2000s.
Yeah,
But they're talking about like some real drug dealers. That
I guess so. Mm. All right. A fox, Queen, and Smith cleaned up for a living in what movie? Or in this movie? Hoodlum, Independence Day, Set It Off, or Juice?
Set
Can
it
you
off.
repeat the question one more time?
The question is, a fox, Queen, and Smith cleaned up for a living in this movie.
Set it
Got it.
off, baby.
Oh, said it all. Yeah. Said it
Set it
all.
off.
Set it off.
All
I
right.
need this money.
Which word do you wish people would stop using? Fleek, ratchet, swag, lit.
Fleet.
Swag.
Fleek is very over.
That's a fleet.
But I still
I
say
like
crumb.
Fleet.
You like Fleek?
I say ratchet.
I love ratchet.
I don't like swag. Swag though.
I'm gonna say lit. I feel like lit's been kind of lingering around for a long time now. Maybe it's time to think of something else.
Something else.
Mhm.
Let's go back to crump.
Right, there we go.
That was a good one. Let's bring back the oldies.
Drunk ain't dead. There we go.
I think my answer is, I don't know, because I use all of these. I'm a person of social media. And even as I hate myself for using them, I still use all of them regularly. So I don't even know. I guess Fleek, because that's the one most people shouldn't be saying. All right. What did you spend your first college refund check on? A new outfit, a car, going to parties, paying your college loans?
Didn't know
Is
better.
food in that list?
Is what on the list?
Is food on the list?
No. Parties?
Right.
Okay, yeah. So I'll go with that one.
I'd probably go with going to parties too.
Probably partying. Yeah.
I would have repaid the loans back.
Aw.
Look at you.
I'm glad someone's responsible
Look
here.
at you.
No comment. No comment.
And get there early so I could get in the party for free.
Yeah.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
I plead the fifth.
All right, what's most liable to get you cussed out at the cookout? Mess up the potato salad, renege during spades, didn't bring anything, walk in and not speak.
Renege.
I'm gonna go with D.
Walk
Absolutely D. Yeah, walk
I'm
in
gonna
and
go
not
with the
speaking.
potato salad. No.
Okay.
I'd rather you not speak. Don't mess up the potato salad.
Well, it's not what do you prefer. It's like what will get you cussed out. I feel like more people are upset. if you
Well,
walk in.
yeah.
Okay, now.
All right, I think
Yeah.
we're good. We are good. So let's talk about New York. Okay, so overall, how did you feel about the season? And anyone can kick it off.
Trash.
Cute.
Trash. The whole season.
I like the beat.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did, but it wasn't. I love Ebony as an addition. I guess the change that Sonya's trying to go through. So I guess I'll give her a piece of that. And then I don't know. I think all of the cast that had 5 people needed more people, and I think that was the biggest problem for most of them. So I think they had the bones there. They just needed a little bit more.
I agree with it. I agree. For me, the season was frustrating to digest. And Ebony got on my nerves, stayed on my nerves. Yeah.
Aaron, did you already say how you?
I agree. I mean, I enjoyed the season kinda. I would say I enjoyed a few of the housewives, but some of them I could live without. Like, Ramona, I mean, can live without. Leah could live without. But I did enjoy Bershawn and Ebony.
Yeah. I agree with all of it, that it was all right. And then I also agree with Dalika is kind of trash. It was a lot for me. Like I was almost hate watching it at some point, which I hate doing. Like if something doesn't make me happy, I just want to just not deal with it. So that I'd have to like have longer gaps between when I did watch it, just because I didn't want to deal with being frustrated with the women and how they chose to deal with situations. It's not even how things came up. It's how they dealt with it. And it was really frustrating for me watching them go through that. Let's break down the women and how we felt about them overall. Let's start with a little more neutral, kind of Sonia. Let's start with Sonia. Let's ease into it. How did we feel this season was for Sonia? What did we like about her? What did we not like? What are Sonia thoughts?
I'm always going to like Sonia because she has poodles and I like poodles. And I know that. And so the dog Marley was funny, but in general, Sonia, what I enjoyed about her this season is more attached to Ebony. I enjoyed that finally people could see, even though she could be a hot mess, that there's a little reasoning when she's kind of doing her tipsy tyrants tantrums. And Ebony kind of showed like, oh no, she's trying to say this. And I do think that she probably does good things in the community. She just has some, I think she almost views this as a chance for her to be a character, and it requires her to drink and overindulge. But when it came to the Shabbat dinner, even though her intention was to quiet Ramona, she became a part of the problem. So sometimes she could have just sat there and let Ramona be the problem by herself instead of kind of tipsily making it worse, even though it was kind of funny, some of the things she was saying about Ramona.
Always kind of funny when she's better. I agree. Dalika?
I would say Sonia was my favorite white woman season on the Real Housewives of New York. I actually realized like she has some type of sense, because I think they try to make her out to be like the crazy over sexual one when she really does have a brain. So that was nice to see. I still think she's a bit delusional. She has a drinking problem, but she was my favorite white woman this season.
Like it. Aaron?
Yeah, I agree with everything she said. Like she was a little intoxicated for most of the season, I'd say, but she had a lot of fun moments. I did like to see her interaction with Ebony. I feel like Ebony brought out the fun side of her. So this was like her season to just party and let loose and just do random shit. And I felt like she did a good job of doing that.
Jasper?
No comment.
None? Okay. All right. Kendrick.
I really enjoyed Sonya this season. I feel like I haven't seen this part of Sonya maybe ever. I don't know. It was a different. I think Ebony really kind of brought it out of her, and I think Sonya is a lot smarter than people give her credit for, because I think that she kind of realized the direction that Ramona was going. And I think she was like, okay, let me look around, let me read the room. And, I think she was able to kind of see that she definitely needed to put some distance between her and Ramona in order for her to, live to see another season. Sonya was more enjoyable than most of the other cast. I'll say that. I enjoyed her. She gives a good laugh.
Sonya always has been laughing. And when she's drunk and she's just spouting off, I'm always dying. It's interesting that you said that you think she has a drinking problem, because I don't think she has a drinking problem. I think, and I forgot which person said that she's like a character. I think it was Lakia. Yeah, because I think that she drinks too much on the show to get her to loosen up and be the Sonya she thinks we all want her to be. And I think she probably doesn't drink that much normally, but when she's on air, and that's probably why she gets drunker faster, because I don't think she does drink that much that frequently, but to be that person, that's what she does. And then I also agree that she's smarter than we think, because even in like scenes where in the moment she was part of the problem, she always redeemed herself in her confessionals. And to me, that's where Ramona went wrong, because Ramona just always doubled down on her bad behavior. Like Ramona, like even like her drunken antics, she could have then come around and had like intelligent, like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But she never saved herself. She always doubled down, versus Sonya, who would come back and be like, we need to read the room. We need to listen. She knew all the right things to say for us to be like, yes, oh yeah, yes. So she did that. But I enjoy Sonya. I do. Let's do Leah next. We can just keep the same order because I like that. Lakia.
Leah, my Virgo sister. I think we have the same sun and moon. And I'm like, ooh. I'm not sure. I think if the difference starts happening in the rising or whatever. But I do recognize that she was going through a loss, but we also need to recognize so is Ebony. So we can excuse it. But what cinched it for me with Leah, because she doesn't bother me as much as she bothers other people, was I felt she was very selfish, and maybe I'm jumping ahead, when her Instagram live after Ebony's pretty much in a beautiful, almost like Cinderella wedding gown, saying, this is what I would have worn to reunion. I'm sad there's no reunion. Here's Leah like, I'm kind of happy we didn't have a reunion, because it felt like a very selfish, maybe because she herself didn't want to revisit those feelings. But she got her first reunion, where she was wearing her black whatever stuff going on. So that's when I was just kind of like, oh, Leah, you're just very, very selfish, a petulant child. That's kind of what she was all season.
I agree. Malika?
I felt like she was doing too much this season. And I recognized she was going through a lot, but she just, all of those outbursts and crying, and I don't like Lakia said, she was being very like selfish and childish. And I really liked her first season, but I wasn't feeling her this season.
Yep. Aaron?
I agree. Like, I just wasn't feeling her. I didn't even think of her. Honestly, I watched the whole show. She didn't give me what I needed. But then, to be fair, a lot of the ladies did. So,
Ooh, I have a follow-up Leah question after we all give our initial. Jasper?
I forgot Lee was even part of the show, so that tells you right there what I think of Leah. So we can.
She didn't make much of an impact. Okay.
Not at all, honey.
Kendrick?
You know what? you you know I'm an agent of chaos. I don't hate Leah as much as kind of like the masses do. I'm one of those people, like it's kind of like Atlanta this past season for me. Like, you know, LaToya and Drew, they did a whole lot, but you know, I'm like, well, nobody else is doing too much, so like, why not do, you know, try to overcompensate? Leah was definitely overcompensating, but I was like, you know what? Give me something. You giving me something to tune into. I can count on you screaming every single episode. I can count on, you know, them calling Ebony angry and just calling you misunderstood. You know, I can count on a lot going on. So it felt like a warm hug, her anger. So, you know, why not? I'm not too mad at Leah.
Yeah. I feel like, so with Leah, I really liked her the first season. So I was disappointed that I didn't like her as much this season, but I give a little bit of leeway with the fact that, you know, her grandmother did pass away and that's someone who's really close to her, and I can't, you know, it really has an impact on people and changes them.
That's true.
I do, though, also think that she got bit with the reality TV bug a little bit more than some people do, because like the Leah that I felt like we met season 1 is not someone who I would have thought would have come back season 2 with like so much work done and a new place and changing so much about herself. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like, you do you, girl. If I had the money, I'd, you know, upgrade myself. But I just, the way she presented herself season 1 wouldn't have made me think she'd be the type of person to give into all of those things to upgrade herself for season 2. So that was like a little bit surprising for me. And then when that type of, I guess, mindset behavior continued through the season, I was like, oh, maybe she wasn't the Leah of season 1, or maybe she, I don't know. I think maybe I wouldn't be surprised if she was more Leah of season 1, but being Leah more season 2. You know how some people like, they're like, oh, the audience likes when I do this, I'm going to do this more. And I'm going to be this like bigger version of myself, like a Sonia, a bigger version of myself. So they like me. I feel like that's what we got a lot of. And I kind of hope she reels it back next season and is just more like chilling herself, because that's the Leah we all liked. But how did you guys feel about her interaction with Heather? Like that whole Heather debacle. Because she was all like, oh, did you hear what Heather said on your podcast? And I take issue with it. Well, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Heather fan. Sorry, not sorry. But like she was like, did you see what Heather said? And blah, 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 blah. And the thing is, it was on the podcast. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Leah's the one who brought it on television and made it an even bigger deal, and then kept trying to turn everyone against Heather before she even got there. It's like she just had decided they weren't going to get along, and she didn't want Heather to come in and be like the, you know, head bitch in charge or whatever, which I don't think Heather came in with that energy, but it was almost like she felt threatened before she even got there. What did you guys think of that fiasco?
I loved it.
You loved it?
I hate her, and I love
hate Heather?
I really, I don't know why anyone would like her. She's very annoying, like extremely annoying. I hate it.
I don't know. You know what? Heather's been one I've always had to actively think about how I feel about them, because I love that whole like season 5 through 7 like refresh that they did, because they really needed it when it happened. So like, you know, I liked Heather like in those kind of years. And she was
with Carol, and I love a good friendship.
Yeah.
And so I really liked her and Carol together.
She was really practical, and I think that's what I liked a lot about her. Like she would go, you know, she didn't mind like mixing it up, but she was really kind of, you know, she picked her battles well, and you know, I feel like she was always like on the right side of stuff. This season, I don't know. Maybe it would have maybe been better to have her in a full-time capacity to kind of gauge how I felt about her. But like those little nuggets, like I feel like she came in right when stuff got like super tense among the cast. So like it was kind of hard to even like really think about how I even felt about Heather. So I don't know. She kind of, if she comes back next season, which I doubt now because she probably gonna stay the hell away. But if she does come back, then you know I'll give her a chance. I don't hate Heather, but you know she's not in my top 10 or anything. You know.
I don't know. I just have always kind of liked her because I think for the reason you said, like she was very practical, and like when there was nonsense going on, I always found myself siding with her more than other situations. Not necessarily this particular one, and even that I also like that she really does own it, as Rena likes to say. She really does own it. Like even at the table when Leah was like, "Oh, you said this, this, and this," and she's like, "Yeah, I did." I'm like, but you can, for me, you can count on Heather to be like, yeah, I said it. Yeah, I did that. And then she'll explain it. I have so much respect for that. Unlike, let's just get the next person over with. Ramona. Unlike Ramona, queen of gaslighting and non-accountability. Let's share our thoughts on Ramona. Lakia.
Ramona's been ridiculous from the beginning. So I mean, when she was walking across the bridge with Bethany, it's like, well, it was a little, now we know the relationship didn't work out, but that has nothing to do with what Ramona said, but that was just so mean. I just remember when she was like, well, you know, you're going to screw this up too. You're a miserable person. You don't have friends. I just never understood why anybody really enjoyed her as a character. I mean, now I understand, you know, you need a evil person or a foil, but she was just always so mean, like your Kenyas, your Tamras, they could do mean things, but I don't know if they're mean people. I feel like Ramona's just a mean person. Like she said some mean things. So years ago, she's just been kind of pushed to the back of my mind, and I just do a lot of ignoring, except for her dramatic moments. My favorite moment of hers is her and Sonia trying to figure out what white trash is. So that I like watching that clip every once in a while. So I just think this season just showed more of the same. Like I wasn't any surprise. She was leaving in helicopters because a piece of wood and, you know, a piece of land in Heather's house reminded her of some alleged childhood trauma. So she's just enough of her. Just it's like, who said that? Like they're like, we like Ramona. Who said that? So that's me. I just don't like her. I don't care for her. I don't have strong feelings for her because it's like, you know, they say there's a thin line from love to hate. I don't even hate her. Who's she?
Right. Yeah. She's a non-factor.
Yeah.
Dalika.
I try to think about Ramona. She's just disgusting. She's disgusting to other people. Like, didn't she shit on the bathroom floor or something? She's disgusting. I don't want to waste breath talking about her. She's disgusting.
I co-sign all that. Aaron?
Trash. Just straight up trash.
Jasper?
Well, Ramona is one of my favorites on New York, and she is fabulous, and I love Ramona. She is, you know, one of the OGs, and she is an interesting character, and she's entertaining to watch, and I enjoy her on the screen because she's a wild card, so you never know what you're going to get with her, and I love someone that can keep my attention, and I think that she does a job that is needed to be done on this show to keep it entertaining, and so I think Ramona definitely, has earned her right to be the Ramona that she is.
Thank you for sharing your insight.
You know that meme that you used, Kendrick, where that lady's in the judge and she's like, that was my reaction. That meme you used. It's just like
Couples court.
The only reason that wasn't my reaction is because we recorded an episode yesterday for like the regular things. And he told me, and that was my reaction. I was like,
yeah,
what do you mean you love Ramona?
We see her in the background.
Honey. Yeah.
I was waiting to see what you were going to say because I see her in the background. I'm like, oh. I feel like you like a not a villain, but a kind of villain. And I like a villain too.
No, Kendrick, you have to later you have to ask him how he feels about, do not answer this right now, Jasper. But later, ask him how he feels about Giselle, and you'll see that he does not love all of the troublemakers.
Oh, I
like villains with intelligence. So, you know.
Well, see, I said not to start answering it. Wait till you see our episode. He went off on Giselle. He's
Oh
not a Giselle
Lord.
fan.
I love me some Jizzy. I won't
I
lie.
know.
But I know that I'm the chaos. Ramona, damn Ramona. I don't know. Ramona is, I don't even know what else there is to say. I think in the past, the difference is like this season was for me hard to watch because of Ramona a lot of the time. When in the past, I kind of appreciated the mess that she brought, even though I've never just like liked Ramona, but I was like, okay, she's on the show, she's being rude on purpose to people for our entertainment. So I'm like, whatever. It's it's a show, it's Tuesdays, I'm okay with it. But this season, I was like, this is way too much to wait. It was if she's not back next season, which she absolutely will be, then I'd be okay with it. But let's be honest, Bravo has their wagon hitched to Ramona. Ramona Singer will be back next season.
It's
Yeah.
a shame.
I'm already bracing myself. I actually stopped watching it for a little while because I don't like watching things that aren't pleasant to watch. And unlike like a Potomac where like Giselle is like problematic but still kind of enjoyable, you know what I mean? And even in like Beverly Hills where their people are like kind of problematic but still enjoyable, like Ramona though, the way she gets under my skin, it's like she takes zero accountability for anything and she loves to gaslight people, and that just like riles me up. Like when she was having the conversation with Bethany the one time about the like the movie she had done, and she's like, has anyone asked your daughter about it? Bethany's like my 6-year-old. And then she's like, oh, I didn't mean it like that. I blah, blah, blah. Yes, you did. Like, yes, you did. Just admit that you're trying to be a bitch. Mission accomplished. You did it. And she's like that all the time. And so, like you mentioned, Kendrick, it was even harder to watch this season because it's one thing if they're doing like something silly and stupid and she's being Ramona. But it's another thing, like when someone's trying to express something very real to them, like problems with their pregnancy, and she's just like blowing it up and making it about her. Like that's where I definitely co-signed Alika's use of the word disgusting, because she really took these like moments and these times for learning and made them so much about her. She's literally like the walking example of white fragility, which is really upsetting to see. And I think also because she's been on our screens for so long, to realize that there's no growth. Like when they showed the clips of all of her inappropriate things and she just keeps saying them and she's like, that's just how I am. Like, you're not a toddler. You are not a toddler. You have the ability to shut your mouth. You make the choice not to. You make the choice to say rude and insulting things to people all the time. And I cannot handle it. She drives me insane. And like you said, normally I can kind of like, oh, Ramona, she'll be in a scene and she'll ignore it. But it's like extra infuriating when someone's trying to like have real moments and talk about important things. And she's just being like a toddler. She acts like a toddler. And it's annoying because I also do think that she is very intelligent. I do think she is probably a great businesswoman. So clearly she is capable of watching her mouth when she needs to. Clearly she is capable of acting the way that she can. And I get that it's for a show, so she's probably playing it up a little bit more, but she plays it up a little too far, in my opinion. But that's just, if anyone wanted to know how, clearly I don't have strong feelings about Ramona at all.
Yeah.
Let's do a fun one. What about Rashawn?
Ooh, for Sean. I don't feel like I don't feel like I got to know her as well as I would have liked. I do have strong opinions about her, of Sonya's outfit of her. I still am trying to understand why we have the pimp hat, because I'm like, all Sonya needed to have is throw a feather in there and it really would have been a problem. But thank goodness she didn't put the feather in the hat. But more about Rashawn. But in that moment when she's like, oh, this is Sonya, all looks less, $30. I think she could be okay. It was just a weird moment with her. And so I just didn't see enough of her, but I enjoy her. I would look forward to her coming back to get to know her more. And real quickly about going back to the Heather thing real quickly, I didn't like how Leah just made it so that we couldn't get a chance to to see how Heather would have interacted more meshed into that, which is what I think production did to Rashawn. We didn't get a chance to see how she would mesh with the ladies as much. So that's me.
I agree. Yeah. Dalika.
Someone that is friends with Ramona doesn't sit right with me. Especially a Black woman. I don't get it. I agree. I didn't really see enough of her to have a full holistic opinion, but her being friends with Ramona, that was just weird to me. I didn't like it.
Aaron?
Yeah, I mean, she was okay. I enjoyed what I've seen of her, but I feel like we could have definitely seen more of her. It was a bit weird at first when she introduced herself, like being a friend of Ramona. I was like, oh Lord. But she seemed to be pretty cool. I guess only time will tell.
Yeah. Jasper?
I love Rashawn. I enjoy her on the show. I follow her on Instagram, so following her, you know, maybe see more of her personality through her posts and stuff. And I like that. I like her on the show as well. On the show, because I feel like she was the type of Black woman that I would hang around. It's because we had two Black girls on the show, and she's more relatable to me. And I love her approach to the topics that was brought up, because she was like, you know, she knows she can't make people think the way she thinks. So I like the fact that she just like, you know, it being like, girl, you don't have to always, like, we don't have to have a teachable moment every time. So I like that she was more practical to me, more. I could gel with her. Like I could see myself hanging with Rashawn. Like I like her energy. So hopefully she comes back next season, which I think she will, and actually hold an apple and be at Man White, so we can get more of who she is in a fuller scheme.
Kendra?
I don't see why she didn't have an apple this season. I mean, 5 is too few. I'll say it a million times. Why not, you know, break up some of the chaos this season and give us somebody? She seemed like she was more of the she seemed like she wanted to at least be, you know, the more light, airy kind of comic relief, like a Sonya. So like, why not give us someone else, you know, in the show like that? Like, there's nothing wrong with 6 apples. You know, you barely pay your first season housewives anyway, so it's not like you're losing money giving her an apple. Why not? We could have had 6 housewives. I enjoyed her on social media too. I enjoyed her on the show. Now I will say our intro to Rashawn kind of threw me off.
Yeah, same.
But after that, it went up. Like it felt like she was you know, giving us a little more of herself. The producers did kind of do her dirty. We could have gotten to know Rashawn a little bit more.
Yeah. And I think it speaks to how likable she probably is that most of us are able to get over that introduction to her to continue to like her. I liked her. I'm the same boat. Like at first I was like, oh, brother. But I do think that she, like when she came in, she is more of what I would have pictured a Black person in that upper Manhattan world to be like, you know what I mean? Like she's more the type. And I think that, and I said this before, I feel like if you wanted to diversify this cast, knowing how this cast is, easing them in with a Rashawn would have been, I think, a better transition than to plop them in with the Ebony. Because like, while they're both Black, and I like that they're so different because Black people are not a monolith, and they show that they're not a monolith. However, you have like Rashawn, who is, you know, living her life and she's Black. And then you have Ebony, who's like living her life and she's Black, but Black is also like her main platform, fighting for Black lives, Black Lives Matters, Black, you know, excellence. All of that is part of who she is. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, I happen to be Black. So like, when you talk to like maybe a Rashawn or someone who does something else, they might be like, oh, well, I do speaking on this and I do blah, blah, blah. But if you ask an Ebony about that, whose career and life centers around her Blackness and giving back to the Black community and things like that, you're always going to get like a Black answer, taking things back to Blackness. So when you have people who are not used to being around that at all, and then you plop them in with an Ebony, of course they're going to be like extra on guard, and they're like, oh, we're not even getting to know you because all you want to do is talk about race stuff. And we saw that a lot with the audience. I think like those of us who were like watching the chat rooms or, you know, like the comment section of stuff, it was like, we want to know more about her, not just that she's Black, but like that is knowing more about her. Like that is what she stands for. That is what she fights for. Like that is her main cause, is that. So I think that she had, I'm obviously transitioning to talking about Ebony, but just because I do think it's important to show like that, like I was saying earlier, like Black people aren't a monolith, and they still had their moments. So like you still saw little Black culture moments, even though they came in seeming very different, they were still like kikiing about certain things. And I enjoyed seeing those moments between Ebony and Rashawn. And obviously overall, I really enjoyed Ebony. Lakia, what are your Ebony thoughts?
Ebony, Ebony, my favorite thing, I do enjoy Ebony, and I would have enjoyed seeing her in the reunion setting, because from the very beginning, she's a very thoughtful person. She's a very methodical person in her conversation. And she sometimes would get this little smirk, sounds negative, but I enjoyed like this little smile or smirk every once in a while she'll get. It almost looked mischievous, but it was me thinking that she's thinking through what people are saying. So she just seems a lot more oh, she's another Virgo, right, Kendrick? So she just seems like, I liked her. She just is very smart and measured with her words, and I don't think she'll allow the ladies to get her to say something like off kilter, yelling back and forth or anything like that, unless she wants it to be that. So I don't know in Real Housewife history if we've had such a measured housewife. She just seems very, maybe Carol in New York too, but
Yeah.
she seems, until she told that last reunion, she told Andy, "Oh, are you scared of Bethany too?" Then I was like, ooh. But you know, I like Ebony. I like that she's measured. I liked how she approached the ladies. The only negative thing, I almost felt like she was a little too bendy, or like trying to understand a little too much the Ramonas and Luann's. So that's the negative side of it. Maybe a little too middle of ground.
And it's interesting that you say that too. And I'll go to you, Delia, next. But it's interesting that you say that, because there are so many of us who watched it and felt that way. Meanwhile, people on the other side are like, why is she always checking them? Why is she? And we're like, she's not. She is baby gloving them compared to how other people would handle those situations. And that's still too much for you. Like, that's so surprising to me. Delika.
I loved Ebony. I wasn't sure at first. She kind of grew on me, but I can say this, she is very articulate. I love the way she communicates her point, and good wordsmith, and she's smarter than all of them. Yeah, I really liked her. And I do think she went easy on the Countess and Ramona, but the way Bravo kind of just plopped the Black girl in the middle of white women and has no relationship with them, and she's kind of like an outsider coming in, I thought she handled it very well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Aaron?
Yeah, I think Ebony handled herself very well. I like what Ebony stands for, honestly, but sometimes I feel like she's just not a good fit with these ladies, because these ladies are a mess. I feel like with Sonia, of course she's a good fit, but the rest of them, it's like the things that she says and the messages that she has, it goes unnoticed a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Okay, Jasper, how do you feel about Ebony?
She bored the life out of me. She got on my nerves. It's okay to be pro-Black, because obviously she is, but like, these are grown women. Half them are in their late 50s or mid 50s, going to their 60s. Like no grown woman wants to be taught by another grown person, one. And then we're supposed to be getting to know each other, being friends. So every time we get together, I don't need a lecture. And these are white women, so they're not going to change their mindset. You can't make a 50, 60-year-old woman think like you or have the same mindset as you. So her repeatedly making her mission to have these lecture field get-togethers was OTT. She was a boring, dry as a housewife. Like I need some. You can still have that be like have a message, but you also can still still have some to be entertaining, to have personality. And I feel like she flatlined for me the whole season, which affected the ratings even more because the show ratings was already in the trash, but she just brought it down even more because people are not gonna. You have to keep the viewers' attention. So her being on there, she didn't keep my attention or have the viewers' attention. Like nobody wants to watch somebody. We don't want to watch a show to be taught. Like we want to talk like a lecture. Like it's okay to say to have a moment of where you may have a conflict where you're explaining this and that. But every episode, that's what the problem for me is like repetitive. Like, okay, you had one episode where you had a whole segment, a whole monologue was given to you. You get a whole moment. We don't need you to have moments after moments after moments. Whatever they do, Ramona and the way they're grown, they're gonna do what they want to do. So you can't make them do what you want them to do. So she wasted her time and she looked at crazy to constantly trying to pick their brains, trying to get them to understand her and think like her. So I hope she does not come back next season. I hope Rashawn replaces her as the only black girl. If she does come back, I hope she is the friend of the show and she can be on CNN or something like that when we talk because she likes to talk.
Well, she is a commentator and a journalist, and
Clearly.
does do that stuff in addition. I do have to, the shade. I do have to say though, that I think it's interesting because people see it as like her droning on and giving lectures, but it was always her in reaction to the other women doing certain things. And she just happened to be calm and would talk it out versus like flying off the handle. So it's interesting where people are like, oh, she's so boring, she doesn't bring stuff. But if she had reacted to, because all of her lectures were reactionary to their actions, but if she had like flown off the handle, like Rashawn came in yelling and screaming and things like that, people would love her. And I think that is unfortunate and annoying because she was calm, because she spoke a certain way, and because she handled situations rationally, boom, she's boring. And she's not.
Yeah, very boring. I mean,
not boring. Kendrick.
I'm a big Ebony fan. I loved Ebony on the show, and I like her off the show too. Like I've always, like I listen to the podcast and Revolt TV, like all of that. So like I feel like I knew who Ebony was before she joined this show. So like I think some viewers were probably surprised that like she was so like, she was an orator. She was, she's so knowledgeable about a lot of things. And I think that threw people off, but I wasn't shocked by that at all.
Because I knew about her from Revolt TV.
Right. Yeah. So like it was the Ebony that I knew and expected and that I wanted to see on this show. Like I think I fell in that category of, you're kind of handling these women because I thought she was, I thought it was kid gloves too. Like I didn't, I thought they could have gotten and taken a lot worse than what she did, but I thought she was pretty thoughtful in a lot of her deliveries and, the stuff that she said to him. Like if it was a different housewife on a different day, it could have been, some bad situations in New York. So, I think she, I think she handled them well. I think she handled the first season well. I like that the season ended on a positive note for most of them. I'm still confused how, but I'm glad it did. So I hope she comes back next. I like Ebony, but I just think they need more women. I'm gonna say it a million times. I'm sorry, just 5 is just too few for any cast. Like it's not 2010 Housewives, it's 2021.
They need more and for like more storyline too. But yeah, overall, I really, like I said, I really enjoyed Ebony. I thought she brought a lot to the show. I hope she gets to come back another season so we do get to see more of her fun side and things like that. And hopefully the other women will react a little bit better to her. So we'll see. And then the last one, an OG, Luann. What are our Luann thoughts from this season? Oh wait, I did have to one more thing to say on Ebony. That I was like you mentioned, Kendrick, the whole kid glove things, that's also part of why it made me so upset when people did have such a negative reaction to Ebony, because I'm like, you guys don't even realize like how nice she is being. Like the fact that you guys are acting like she is tearing these women apart when she is just very calmly trying to explain situations to them is really like, that was really frustrating for me as a viewer, seeing comments and stuff from other fans. All right, so Luann.
Miss Cabaret, life is a cabaret. So Luann for me is one of the most changed New York housewives from the very beginning to now. And she might need to leave when she's on a higher note, like, because now it's starting to dip back down. And before she did that whole insinuating the angry Black woman thing, because I think she knew what she was doing in that moment. I really do, because after Ebony kind of tried to correct her, she said the word angry again. So I was like, I don't know. I think she did course correct, because at Shabbat dinner, she just stayed quiet. So this wasn't her season. It wasn't great. It was just lackluster. I had strong feelings at first, but now it's just kind of like, I don't know, Luann. Those Divine dresses were beautiful. The best thing I remember is her music video shoot, but I don't know. I now that I'm talking about this with you guys, it does need a refresh. And I believe New York, to Kendrick's point, was one of the first franchises that would have 7, because those posters, it would be like 7 plus a friend or 2.
They had 8
so,
at one
yeah
point.
They had a lot of people. So, and that's why when New York was some of my favorite, that's why, because it was just more people. And I just think they need more people, because I think Luann could deliver and being snobby to more people there, so yeah, she wasn't the best for me. No, it's a no for me, dog.
Dalika.
One thing about Luann, she always has a man, and I can respect that.
True.
She looked really great this season.
Good.
And that's kind of all. She's like a caricature to me. Like she's the cabaret, da-da-da, oh, darling, oh, how dare you say that to me? Like, it's just, it's her. It's the Countess. It's what she's always been. But she looked really great this season. I think this is the best she's ever looked.
Good looking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Aaron.
I'm gonna say the same thing. She looked great. I forgot she was on the show a few times. But she gives the same thing. I feel like this was honestly her weakest season, though, I must say. I was disappointed in her at the beginning of the season, but then towards the end of the season, I'm like, oh, maybe she's okay. But I don't know. But talking about it does make me realize that this season did not give.
It really didn't.
At all.
Like, it really didn't.
It did not.
Jasper, how do you feel about Luann?
I love Luann. She's one of my other faves on New York. I love the Countess. I think she's a goddess. I love her personality. I think that she, elevates the show. Her and Ramon together elevates the show and keeps the show popping in its peak. I enjoy her her personality. Like I said, I enjoy her banters and her being snobby to people. I live for it. So I'm a Luann stan, and I hope she comes back next season, which I think she will. You need her and Ramona to keep the show. They're the anchors of the show. And I definitely think that this season was definitely dry and definitely down in the, it was not a good season for New York at all. And they definitely need a shake up, cast recall, bring some new faces, some old faces together, give us more housewives, make it more and friends of the show, like give us a more well-rounded cast.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. Kendrick.
Luann has historically always been one of my favorites. I actually really I thought that she was the one in New York that probably across all the cities, I thought she shared more of her life than a lot of people have coming on Housewives. Like we've seen her, like her breaking down in that room about the rumors about Tom and like all that stuff. She's given us a lot over the years. I think this season was a big step back from her. Like I don't know. I don't think she had much going on. Like, of course, like I think a lot in the past too. I think drinking has kind of contributed to it, and her being maybe it's just because it was her. Is this her first sober season?
Is it?
Maybe, or in a while, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was, but I don't know. It might take some getting used to. Not that she needs to be drunk for me to enjoy her, but I'm saying like, I'm saying like,
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I've always been kind of a Luann fan, even though she has her moments.
Right.
I didn't like her as much this season. I mean, I still like her. I think that her course correction for her behavior earlier in the season, I don't think was really like, I learned and I grew. I think it was like, I learned to be quiet. I learned to not say what I really think and feel. Because even like when they were talking about stuff, I don't think that she was really taking it in that much. I think she just learned to not cause a scene like Ramona does, which is kind of sad to see. I think that her insecurity, like she has, I don't know if it's something with like her intelligence, but it seems to be like a trigger point for her. She had such a reaction to Ebony saying that she was the most educated, even though she said she was most educated, not the most intelligent. It's not the same thing. They're totally different, but she took it in as her saying she was the most intelligent. And then with Leah, when Leah was like, oh, I had the lawyers look into it, like she lost it at that. So I think she's very, very defensive, which is unfortunate. But when she's fun, she's fun. She's a good time. And that's sober or drunk, because I think she has fun, sober moments too.
Yeah.
All right. So so overall, because those are going to be my last two questions. One was, how did we feel about the season overall? And I think we all kind of feel like womp womp, which I literally, like, I can't believe there were 16 episodes. So I'm like, of what? Like, what were there 16 episodes of?
Ramona and Luann, yes.
It felt like there were only like 2 or 3 scenes the whole season, and somehow they stretched it into 16 episodes. But how do we feel about them not having a reunion at all?
Trash.
You guys are happy about this?
Oh yeah.
No.
I am.
I will
Okay.
say it.
Reunions
Aaron,
are the
let's
reason
start
I
with
watched
you.
the season.
All right, let's start with you, Aaron. Why are you happy about it?
I mean, we didn't love this season at all. Why would we want to talk about the stuff that we didn't like? You know what I mean?
Valid point.
Maybe
All right.
next season.
Dalika, why are you not happy with they're not doing it?
I wanted Andy to get in Ramona. Like, I wanted to ask her the hard questions and her to be flustered and get up and say she has to pee or something. Like, I wanted that, and I wanted to see that.
I hear you. Jasper, why are you happy they're not having one?
Because I did not want to sit through 2 parts of Ebony blabbering off about racial stuff, because I feel like the whole reunion was going to be like 95% about the racial issues, racial stuff they had on the show, the drama with Ramona, and the comments like that they had issues about. So I did not want to hear it over and over again. I was not willing to sit the 2 parts of that. I did not. I feel like it was going to be a waste of time, because the stuff they talked about during the season, I personally would not want to sit through 2 parts of hearing them rehash all that. I feel like it would be a waste of time. Even seeing Ramona be quote unquote put in the hot seat, it would be a waste of time, because Ramona's gonna do what Ramona wants to do. So today, whatever Andy would have said to Ramona, is gonna go in one ear and out the other, because it doesn't matter to her. So I'm glad they did not do a reunion. I'm glad my girl Ramona, I'm glad my girl Luann did not have to sit through that bull, because they stay at home, their fabulous homes, and I have to deal with the Ebony in her mess.
Okay. And then Lakia, were you team glad or not glad?
We should have had a reunion, even if they just went to watch what happens live, because even freaking Summer House, even every
Below Deck.
Below Deck, Family Comedy, like all these shows get a reunion. I don't know any show on Bravo other than say maybe the Millionaire. Oh gosh, I just made that up.
Millionaire Matchmaker or $1 Million
Yeah, I was going to
Listing?
say the Matchmaker, but then I meant the New York real estate shows. Maybe they don't have reunions or Top Chef, but it's a competition show. So I'm disappointed just because of tradition, like on Fiddler on the Roof tradition, like it's tradition, and just they should have just done it, even if it wasn't Watch What Happens Live, and because now it sends the wrong message. It sends the wrong messaging, and that they can control this, because in the past they allegedly say when housewives don't go to reunions they can't return. But word on the street is that Sonia, Luann, and Ramona went to the network and said they didn't want one, and then they were finally convinced to have one, but then there was crewing issues. So I don't know. It just doesn't seem to sit right, because the ladies probably would have done it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Kendra?
So kind of a few reasons. One, like a clerical reason. I like to watch the reunions before the new season starts, just so I can remember what the hell happened, because I'm not about to go back and watch all, 16 episodes where they come back. So I like the reunions just so I can like get a refresher before the new things start. But also, like I wanted a reunion because I think they had a lot that needed to be addressed this season. But then again, I don't know if Andy was gonna ask the right questions. Like they needed like Wendy Williams or somebody to get up there and just like be overtly honest about everything. Like they needed somebody to, I don't know, he needed to outsource their job if they were gonna have a reunion, so we can actually hear the things that we wanted to hear on their reunion. So I mean, at this point, they've stretched it out for so long. Nina Parker, exactly. That would have been a great one. It would have been stretched. See, there we go.
Nina would have been amazing.
And then she black too, so it would have been. It would have been
Yeah, because she does the Love and Hip Hop reunions. She would have been great. Yeah, I feel I'm both. I'm on both sides, because like my sense of peace of mind is glad that we're not having one, because it would have agitated me the whole time. But at the same time, it's like you always have a reunion. At the height of the pandemic, you had Zoom reunions, and now you're not having one because a couple people don't want to have to answer difficult questions. I think that it is BS on the side of what the viewers should get to see, but also because the network claims to want to amplify voices and have people heard. And now you have a couple people who are upset. So the way to respond to that is to just ignore the other voices. Like, of course, no matter what happened, people were going to be upset at the end of the reunion. But I feel like the way that they went, not having a reunion at all, clearly tells us which voice is louder in the Bravo sphere. It clearly tells us which voices matter more, because they could have had the reunion, because it's not like even if they had it, Ebony would have been sitting there being perfect. Everyone would have loved her. She would have taken crap too. So would have Ramona and Sonia. Like that's just how it is. And Luann, everybody would have gotten it both from the questions from the viewers and then in the aftermath of it. But at least they would have both been on equal footing, and it would have seemed like they at least cared for everyone to voice what they had to say. But by canceling the reunion, I just feel like they're saying like, oh, you guys were upset about things that happened. Oh, well, too bad. We care more about protecting, Ramona than we care about having other voices heard. And that's really sad as a longtime Bravo fan. And as someone who was like watching their specials about how much they cared and was, they're, doing a little bit of diversity on the casting, but nope, I guess they don't care that much, which is unfortunate.
I have a question real quick. So the kids said that they were saying they were with Ramona and two other housewives went to the network. You said it was Ramona and two other.
Ramona, the word on the street is Ramona, Luann, and Sonia went and said that they didn't originally went and said they didn't want to do the reunion because they just felt like it was just too much of, the talks about race, and it was going to make them look good. And that was the original delay of, allegedly of them kind of staying together as OGs, like we don't want to do it. And remember, Luann was off in Europe having living her best life, and then they finally got it together. I think I read somewhere that Ebony went to lunch with Sonia and like kind of finesse things with people, and then all of a sudden, boom! It was supposed to be filmed today, a week before, or last weekend Friday, they announced they couldn't get the production and the crewing together.
I mean, they could Zoom. They choose not to.
And again,
that's what we all heard.
Just like a lot of things we read and hear, but it was delayed originally for a reason. So that kind of makes sense that somebody was delaying it for a reason.
Yeah.
But it was Ramona. It wasn't protecting Ramona, because if that is true, and
it was three of them going together.
But we all know who everyone's mostly upset with is Ramona.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was protecting, but the ladies protected themselves. Like
all of them. Yeah.
And they're OGs, so they had
they united.
Power move. So I'm not mad at them. I'll do the same thing.
I'm not mad at them for doing what was in their best interest, but I'm mad that it wasn't in the best interest of all of us viewers and everyone else.
It was. I didn't want to watch it, so it was in my best interest to save my eyes.
Now that you that Sonia went with them, you like her now?
I like Sonia and Ramona's friendship. I think Ramona's a very friendship. So I like that. Yes, I think Ramona. I like Ramona as they're good friends.
Yeah.
And she went with the winning team. She's smart. She didn't go with the OGs.
Oh, brother. Well, I thank you guys so much for joining me for this first cookout. I'm sorry I'm not sorry because it's not my fault, but I wish it was a more interesting season. I can't wait for the Beverly Hills cookout because that is going to be some things to discuss. Yeah. And even Potomac, because they're interesting now too.
Yes.
So those will be good times. Those will be cookouts that are coming out in the future. In between that, check out the other episodes. We have, I'm going to hopefully drop this tomorrow. So there's 3 up right now. There is Ratchet or Respectable, where we talked about respectability politics. There's It's Raining Men, where we talked about the men of Bravo. And then there is I Get It From My Mama, where we talked about some mother-daughter relationships. Next week, you guys are going to get Damaged Friendships. We've been filming a lot, so we have some fun things coming up. And also, even though this is Bold, Black, and Addicted to Bravo, it is all are welcome. So next Tuesday, Vanderpump Rules has their premiere. So I'm doing a special called It's Not About the Pasta with some of our other, I don't even know the best way to, we're going to diversify it up.
Melanated.
Okay? With less melanin. But still awesome. Our fellow podcasters and Instagrammers. So we're going to get together and talk about Vanderpump premiere and how we felt about the firing over the summer. So check it out. I hope you guys come back for more episodes. Thank you so much, Kendrick, Lakia, Dalika, Aaron, and Jasper. This has been a fun cookout. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you'll come back next time.
Don't mess up the potato salad.
Don't mess up the potato salad.
Please don't.
And speak when you walk in here.
Yes.
Maybe you just kick your feet up while I kick back. I roll one with you by my side.